Antibiotic resistance is one of the biggest health challenges of our time, and one of the most dangerous of the microbes is Klebsiella pneumoniae carbapenimase. That is a mouthful. We often call it KPC. In this video, we're going to break down what it is, how it spreads, the signs, the symptoms, how to prevent it, and how to treat it. So what is KPC? Well, it's a microbe, as I mentioned, bacteria, Klebsiella pneumoniae. That C means that it's carbapenem resistant. It has carbapenimase, which is an enzyme that helps break down that particular antibiotic. And that's really important because that antibiotic is one of the last lines of defense that we have when treating serious bacterial infections. Klebsiella pneumoniae is a microbe that can live in the gut and in the respiratory system of human beings. Now, the microbe has been around for a very, very long time. We've known about it for many decades. The carbapenem-resistant microbe was identified somewhere around the 1990s in the United States and has spread worldwide. Although the number of cases has been decreasing over years, Klebsiella pneumoniae has been known to cause outbreaks in hospital settings, and when they happen, they can be a really huge problem. They can be associated with people who are on ventilators and catheters and other people who are immunocompromised, which is often a lot of people that are seeking medical attention and having to stay in a hospital. So what are the signs and the symptoms? Well, one, as the name implies, pneumoniae, the organism can cause pneumonia, which would result in a cough and a fever and shortness of breath. It can cause urinary tract infections where you have painful urination, the feeling like you always have to go to the bathroom. There can also be a fever there, and it can cause, most importantly, bloodstream infections. And so if the organism starts spreading and gets into the blood, this can be a big problem. It can cause fevers and chills and low blood pressure, confusion, because these symptoms can overlap with a lot of other illnesses. Usually lab testing is necessary. This microbe is a gram-negative bacilli. In other words, it's kind of hot dog shaped. Being gram-negative, it has this outer layer called LPS, lipopolysaccharide. And our bodies really, really hate when this stuff is in the bloodstream, and it can cause toxic shock if the concentrations rise high enough in the blood. So basically what happens is KPC produces an enzyme that breaks down the carbapenem antibiotics before they have a chance to destroy the bacteria. This makes the KPC a type of carbapenem-resistant enterobacteria, or CRE, and these infections can spread rapidly in hospitals because the bacteria can live on surfaces. They can live on medical equipment. They can live on the hands of healthcare workers, and if proper hygiene isn't followed, it can cause the spread to happen very, very rapidly. So how do you prevent it? Hand hygiene is critical, especially for healthcare workers, anybody visiting people in the hospital. Having proper PPE, wearing gloves and gowns, and just having that personal protective equipment is super important. Rigorous cleaning and disinfection of hospital equipment and rooms, especially if there's been somebody in that room that has had KPC. You want to make sure that all the surfaces have been properly disinfected, all of the equipment has been sterilized. Treating KPC is not easy to do. Now, it is true that people who sometimes get KPC, they will recover on their own. Antibiotics, again, this is a big problem because the organism is resistant to the carbapenems, and this is one of our last lines of defense. And so if the organism is resistant, well, now you've got possibly other antibiotics. A big one is tigecycline. That is really one of the last lines of defense that we have at that point. So if you are somebody who's considering going into healthcare as a future profession, be aware that Klebsiella pneumoniae carbapenimase, the KPC organism, is out there. It is an antibiotic-resistant organism and a potential major health concern, especially when we're dealing with a hospital setting. If that happens to be something that you see in that hospital setting, extra precautions absolutely need to be taken because it can be really difficult to treat. If you want more information on some other interesting microbes that can be a handful when somebody gets them, contracts them, and how to treat them, check out those videos in the upper and lower right-hand corner. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great week.